What's going on, everybody? So this is part 2 of the 5 things that you should keep in your car. This is the next 5 things. This is kind of like a little more on the extended drive part. I kind of want to touch on that. If you guys, it's the summer, and I know a lot of you guys don't want to fly right now, and so driving is really the next best thing because you're in your car, you got more control, and so the one thing that I want to address before I get started with anything else is in the last video I mentioned a window punch. I said you should keep a window punch in your car, and basically that was a thing that you put up against the window, you pull it back, and then a little sharp point hits the window, and it breaks, it shatters the glass. And so someone in the comments had mentioned that, I will put his name up in the video, but he mentioned that with laminated glass that it's very difficult to break the window. So I, kind of looked into it and tried to come up with some kind of solution for it, and pretty much you're just gonna need a hammer. So keep a pretty heavy hammer in your car. Preferably keep it under the seat, because if you do get into an accident and you start flipping over, you don't want the hammer to start flying everywhere. That would be the last thing you want. Secondly, you don't want to keep the hammer in the trunk, because then you might not be able to get it. So keep it under the seat, maybe build some kind of Velcro attachment, and make sure you check with your state laws and everything like that to make sure that keeping a hammer under the seat is legal. I don't want you to get in trouble. But yeah, so keep some type of hammer or axe with a sharp point on the end. So the blade on the front, sharp point on the back. And then that way, if you do get into a jam where you can't open your doors and you need to break the glass, you're gonna have enough weight so that you can just break that window. And the hammer should do the trick. I can't make any promises, but just make sure that it's heavy enough so that you can break the glass with one hand in all kinds of positions. So if you don't have that much leverage, you can still break it. I have thought of some really cool ideas, some just engineering, I guess, kind of ideas where you kind of have to be on SolidWorks and just totally build it from scratch. So we'll see. But if you guys already have access to SolidWorks, to a CNC machine, to all that good stuff, go ahead and start making some really cool window punches for laminated glass. Just remember me, when you're wearing that mink coat in the middle of summer, it's 90 degrees, and I'm like, hey, didn't I give you that idea? Just remember me, So the next one that I highly recommend is some type of FixAFlat. And when I moved from California to Georgia, and if you notice the light change, that was the garage light that just went out. So when I was moving from California to Georgia, I would say, and I drove the car, and so I think I was in Mississippi at the time, and I stopped at a Mega Mart to sleep. And, so I'm not going to name any mega marts, don't want to put that security on blast there. But was able to sleep in the parking lot without any trouble. And I noticed when I was, kind of getting out the car to stretch, I noticed that my front tire was flat. Also, the car told me, because the S-Class is just super smart. So, yeah, the car notified me. I got out, I stretched, and it was a big deal. So thankfully I was able to drive to a really close gas station. And one thing that I noticed is that in California, you can find the green slimy FixAFlat pretty conveniently. But once you start going I guess more into the East Coast side, it was pretty difficult. So I did, I guess you could say I had to use FixAFlat. And I'm pretty shocked, because I've always heard such negative reviews about FixAFlat and all that stuff versus the slime. The green stuff was always better. And, I had no other option. So I used the FixAFlat. it says TPMS tire sensor safe. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I bought the big can just in case that I needed to fix the flat again, because it was like 1 in the morning. So, it's not like I could go to some tire shop. Another idea, if you want to have a 24-hour tire shop, kind of in the middle of nowhere, yeah, just remember me if I ever stop into your place at like 2 in the morning. So, yeah, this really worked. I was super surprised. In fact, I moved, I want to say, I've been in Georgia for almost a year now, and I still have the FixAFlat in the tire with the nail. It's more of a screw than a nail, and I feel like screws will hold a seal as long as you don't screw it out. So yeah, I'm really surprised. I'm really psyched that this has been working for almost a year and I have not changed the tire. So I highly recommend FixAFlat or any type of just tire sealant before you embark on a journey. So yeah, FixAFlat. That's another thing you should keep in your car. And the next thing I will recommend is some type of light, a flashlight, something brighter than your cell phone. I know you've seen it. I've seen it. It's just like, hey, do you have a flashlight? And then someone pulls out their cell phone like, oh yeah, hey, yeah, shine it on this alternator right here. Get some type of really powerful flashlight. This one you can pick up at Harbor Freight, the Braun Flexi light, and it has a magnet on the end that's really strong. Let's see if I can, so like, yeah, let's see if it'll pick up this hammer. So, I mean, look at that. And this isn't a light hammer. And so this magnet is really strong. And when you're working, you can just sit it on the car anywhere, kind of hands-free, like rotate the angle. And then it has a flashlight on the top that's not as strong, but it's just good for like, inside the car if you want to look around and stuff like that. So I highly recommend a very bright flashlight. Something that also has a metal body too. And you don't have to get the Braun. You can get more of like the kind of tube style flashlights, like a Condor or Phoenix or Surefire or whatever. But I just recommend that you get something that's not too big and that's very bright and durable, preferably with a rechargeable battery. That's kind of what I recommend. I know you might argue against that and say, well, regular batteries are more easily convenient and easily available. But, just buy a few rechargeable batteries and keep them with you. So moving on. The next thing I recommend, I know it's simple. I'm not like running out of ideas. This is stuff that I've used and it's just been like the best thing ever. And it's a plastic bag. And it's a Ziploc bag or just some type of like sealed bag. And so what you would use this for is like a trash can. And one cool thing is in Japan, they actually make trash cans. Actually, I have one right here, and this is a car trash can. So like, yeah, you put this in your car and it's a trash can. But this one doesn't come with the floor mat clip. So I just kind of use it on the table and just store like pencils and stuff. But some kind of sealed bag is just as good. And the cool thing is, once you fill it up, and you're at the gas station, then you can just put it in the recycle bin if everything in the container is recyclable. If not, just go ahead and dump the trash into the trash bin and then make sure you either reuse the bag or you dump it into a recycle bin. And so the next thing I recommend are a pair of gloves. Something you can use latex. Latex is fine, but I recommend something a little bit more durable. So I like to use these gloves. They're really good because they have like this extra layer of protection, kind of like this laminate layer of protection. So it's really good if you need to change a flat tire. You're out on the road and you got to kind of have to do like some heavy duty lifting. So it's good for that, for changing tires. Maybe you might have to pick up some sharp edge metal while you're out on the road. But yeah, a good pair of gloves, I highly recommend. So those are the things that I recommend. That's the second half of this 5 things that I recommend in your car. So if you have any questions, about any of these items that I've listed, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thanks for sticking around to the end. Till the next time, see you guys later. Hey, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks.